Urban Artificial Intelligence, strategic thinking media platform. Young Thug first interview addressing elite cause, Gunna, other YSL members. A lot of things was discussed during this interview, man. And I'm gonna keep it real. After just sitting with this interview for a couple of days, getting in the comments, reading what people had to say, people still got a lot of questions, man. I don't know. I think this was good for Thug to do. It was a good look for him, but a lot of questions is still unanswered. A lot of people felt like he just didn't take accountability through this whole interview. I mean, we're gonna get into why people feel that way when we speak about the details of the interview. But I guess overall, this was a good look for him. But you know, is there still questions? Is this gonna just fix everything? Is everybody 100% clear on everything that's going on? No, absolutely not. It's still questions. And me personally, it was a couple of things that stuck out to me before this interview that I had questions about. And I'm just gonna touch on the things that, you know, for me, it was concerning and it was confusing to me. Now, during this whole situation, everybody probably got things that differently that they feel they want to know the truth too. Cause the way Thug was moving, he was contradicting himself. He was definitely contradicting himself with a couple of different things, and we're gonna talk about it. But everybody, I think, had a different side of Thug that they wanted to see. Everybody had different questions, and you know, some questions got answered and some didn't. But this was a highly anticipated interview, man. It was a highly anticipated interview. Big Bank, salute to him and the Big Facts podcast. And this was a loaded interview too, 3 hours long. And again, it's some questions were answered, but some weren't. All right, some weren't. And the consensus again, it was that Thug wasn't remorseful. He didn't really hold himself accountable. The majority of the interview, he was basically acting like a victim. And it's hard to act like a victim, man, when you got the more money and more power than anybody in the situation. All right. You was the leader. You the CEO, you the millionaire, you have more money and power than anybody. So saying that you a victim at the end of the situation, that's really not what people wanted to hear. All right, that's not what people wanted to hear, man. I think they wanted a little bit more accountability from Thug, and I think people wanted him to hear. I think people wanted him to say it was my fault, through a lot of these situations because these were situations that Thug, got himself into. But we gonna get into one of the main things that I found contradicting and the Unfunk situation, all right, where he said that he told Unfunk to take a plea. He tweeted that later when he came home, but the call leaked with him telling Savage that he didn't tell Unfunk to take the plea. Now, when this happened, for me, that was the first sign of contradiction, and that was one of the main things that I want him to address. And salute the Big Bank again because he brought that up very quickly, and that was something that a lot of people felt like Thug was just being a liar about, and it's a lot of things that people think he lied about, but that was one of the main ones. Now he addressed that Unfunk police situation. He basically said he had to say that he didn't tell Unfunk to take the plea because if he told 21 Savage that he did tell Unfunk to take the plea, then he would get in trouble for communicating with him because that's his co-defendant. They on the same case. Now, that made sense. Okay? That made sense. From the beginning, it sounded like a lie. But that does actually make sense. I want y'all to get in the comments and let me know what y'all think about that. This is a RICO. The YSL case is a RICO. So that makes sense. You can't talk to your co-defendants. Now, his point of view was if he would have said that on the phone to Savage, if he would have said, yeah, I did tell him to take the plea, which he said he did. He told Unfunk to take the plea. That's his brother. That's his real brother. They both have the same mother. Unfunk had already just did 12 years in jail. I think he beat a murder, or if you want to call it 12 years beating it, it kind of is. So he got up out of that, and Thug was basically saying his brother done spent his whole life in prison and he was ready to sit, he was ready to stay. But Thug was like, nah, man, you got to get up out of here. Young Thug mom also wanted Unfook home as well. So he did say ultimately he did tell him to take the plea, but he didn't want to say that over the phone because if he said it over the phone, the police would know that he done had contact with him. Y'all get in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all think. I felt like that was a satisfactory answer. A lot of, other people didn't feel that way. Other people still felt like he was lying. I felt like, that was a satisfactory answer, man. But, these are the things that I felt, or these were the answers that I was looking for. Trust me, everybody's list is different. It's different things that everybody want Thug to explain themselves for because, again, it was so much going on and he was doing so much and it was so many questionable activities in YSL as a whole that everybody just, everybody got questions. Now, the second thing, obviously, the interrogation footage. A lot of people had questions about the interrogation footage. Thug, you was in an interrogation. You had a 2-hour interrogation. You gave the police your phone number. You told them to call you if they needed anything. You told them that you would help them solve cases and all type of crazy shit like that. So his reply to that, and again, Bank brought this up. His reply to that was he was flirting with the officer. I guess he was trying to crush the officer. She was attractive, so he was flirting with her, and he basically was trying to spin the police. Another thing that people brought up about that interrogation room footage, him saying Roscoe name, him saying Roscoe be serving Wayne, Roscoe sell drugs to Wayne, and Roscoe break the law every day. Again, it's kind of a gray area here. And I spoke about this in my last episode. Roscoe was accused of shooting up Wayne Bus, right? So in this situation, admitting that he's a drug dealer, Thug, I'm guessing he thought that that would take them off the trail of him being a shooter. Okay, that makes sense to an extent. It really just depends on if the police, take that or not. That's what's so risky about trying to trick the police. That's what's so risky about giving the police information, any type of information. That's why people consider the snitching, because once you give the police information, you already playing a dangerous game. Because they gonna want more information. Once you start giving them information, they're gonna want more information. Unless you just making it up 100%. Even still, some people consider that snitching when you're making it up 100%. But once you start giving the police information, once you start working with them, once you build that relationship with them, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. All right. He said he was trying to help Roscoe out. And again, Roscoe co-signed this. Roscoe said he felt like Thug was trying to help him out. Now, does Roscoe have a reason to say that? I don't know. I don't know Roscoe's financial situation. We heard Ralo say some stuff like, well, he's broke. So, and we heard 6ix9ine say that as well, which 6ix9ine took the stand. So I don't know. I don't know why 6ix9ine's trying to make anybody feel any type of way about cooperating. 6ix9ine pointed people out on the stand. So not sure why he's a part of this conversation. But, again, Pee Wee Roscoe got on live with DJ Academics, with Whack 100, with 6ix9ine, and said, I was being accused of a violent crime. I was being accused of a shooting. So when Thug says, nah, all he don't got no beef with Wayne, all he did was serve Wayne. He thought he was helping him. Do I believe that? Possibly. Like, this is all just one big gray area, man. It's all one big gray area. What was Thug's intentions behind that interrogation? We don't know. Nobody know. And I feel that's the number one thing that people are neglecting: intention. Did Young Thug go into the interrogation room thinking, man, I got to get myself out of the situation? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he was trying to help Pee Wee. But did he say too much? Yes. I mean, sitting and talking with the police for 2 hours. Me, I'm not a street nigga. I'm not a thug. I'm not a gangster. As a civilian, that would look crazy. As a civilian, that looks fishy. It looks like you're working with the police. Whether you are or you aren't, that's just what it looks like. So, as somebody who is a gangster rapper, of course, sitting 2 hours in the interrogation room with the police, you gonna have to explain that. So, Thug having this attitude, like, he's just flabbergasted to why people think he snitched is crazy, man. You sat in the interrogation room for 2 hours. So yeah, you claim blood, you say you a thug, you say you a gang member, you gotta explain sitting and talking with the police for 2 hours, bro. That's worth an explanation. People, fans, other street niggas, regular people like me who got YouTube channels who document the shit, we're not out of line for asking you to explain yourself. You say you a thug, you say you a gangster, you condemn people for snitching, but it's a video of you talking to the police for 2 hours. Yeah, bro. Like, you can't be cocky thinking you don't gotta explain yourself. You do, man. You do. You definitely gotta explain that. Now, the other situation that, you know, I was curious about, the Yak Gotti situation. You spoke on that. We got Yak Gotti in some Vlad TV interviews asking, who did he snitch on? How am I snitch? Who did I snitch on? Apparently, it was Duke, from what Young Thug says. Now, this is where things kind of get shaky for me, and I kind of lose some understanding. If y'all want to get in the comments and explain this to me, please do. So, from Young Thug's point of view, Yak allegedly told on Duke. All right. Duke got jumped at Magic City. He called Yak. Yak pulled up with guns. He picked up Duke, and they went to those ops who jumped Duke at Magic City. They went to their hood. They was riding around looking for him, allegedly, whatever they was about to do. It was allegedly that's what they was about to do. This is what Young Thug says. I'm just somebody reporting what Young Thug said. During them looking for the ops, riding through the ops hood, they got the police got behind them. State trooper got behind them. They went on a high speed chase. They crashed the car. All right, this is where it get funny. They crashed the car. Duke jumps out the car and run. Yak Gotti stays in the car. Thug was saying, "Why would you stay in the car, Yak Gotti?" He heard some people say Yak Gotti got out. Some people said he stayed in the car. Hopefully he got out and ran and got caught. Why Yak Gotti would stay in the car with guns and you just was on a high-speed chase, I have no clue. All right. Again, still more questions than answers. All right. Do y'all see how? Okay, more questions than answers. So they got on a high-speed chase. Yak stayed in the car allegedly, and he gave information to the police. He told the police the truth. He told the police we were about to go retaliate for Duke getting jumped. All right. Why Yak Gotti would tell the police that much information, I don't know. Again, here where we have some more confusion. Duke got that charge. Duke got a gun charge. Was he gonna get that gun charge anyway without Yak volunteering information? If you ask Yak Gotti, he will probably say yes. Young Thug feels like Yak gave up sensitive information that hurt Duke because Duke had to plea. The plea that Duke took was basically saying everything that Yak Gotti said was true. All right. I know that's kind of complicated. Do y'all understand everything that I'm saying there? Yak Gotti and Duke got on a high-speed chase. They crashed the car. Duke got out and ran. Yak allegedly stayed in the car. The police drew down on the car. They found pistols in the car. Both these dudes is convicted felons, I think. Even if Yak definitely is. Yak done beat murders, and Yak has multiple gun charges. So he done beat murders and he got gun charges prior. Why would you stay in the car? I can't explain that. He allegedly stayed in the car and he told the police the truth. He told them me and Duke was about to go retaliate to our ops. That's where we are today. Is that the truth? I don't know. Again, if Yak wouldn't have volunteered that information, would Duke still have got the charge? Did Duke get that charge from Yak volunteering the information? Who knows? We don't know because we wasn't there. We just got to go off what they say. And Yak got a song that I play a lot. His favorite song of mine called "Free to Go," where he says, "Riding with Lil Duke and I took the charge." Thug said that's cap. Thug said the federal government put that charge on you because you have so many gun charges, which I didn't even know you could do. I didn't even know the feds could do that. I didn't even know the feds could see 4, 5, 6 gun charges that you got. You got state charges, and they could just say, "Yo, it's a federal charge now." I didn't even know they could do that. I thought maybe they had to run the gun and the gun come from another state, then the feds get involved. But no. Apparently, if you got 5 or 6 gun charges, the feds can just say, "All right, this is a federal case now. You got too many gun charges. This is a federal case now. We just gonna make it federal." I didn't even know they could do that. But apparently that's what happened because Yak did have a federal gun charge. So apparently that's they can do that. Get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about that. You see how sticky and crazy the situation is? So whose fault is it for Duke having that charge? Can you call Yak a snitch? If the police ran down, they caught Duke on foot anyway. So let's say Yak wouldn't have said nothing. If they caught Duke, did he have the gun on his hip? Or excuse me, Thug said he threw the gun. So they found the gun and they still connected it to Duke. So how is that Yak fault? I don't know what information Yak gave the police. But if I'm riding with my homeboy and I jump out the car and I throw the gun and I'm running and the police tackle me, it don't matter what my homeboy told the police. I'm going to jail for a gun charge. And again, Yak say in the song, "Riding with Lil Duke and I took the charge." He that bar sound like he took the charge for Duke. But Thug is like, "No, bro, Duke went to jail anyway. And you didn't take the charge for nobody. The feds put that charge on you. You had no choice. The feds put that charge on you because of your prior criminal history." If I'm not making sense, I understand. Because this is a lot. And a lot of people just think this is a whole bunch of nonsense, but this is the inner workings of it, y'all. This is the inner workings of it. This is the meat and potatoes of the situation. All right. Now, another thing that Thug said, saying that Ralo was gonna testify against him and Lucci. A lot of people feel like that is just a straight up lie. They feel like that's a straight up lie. I and I gotta agree that I'm not gonna call Thug a liar. I'm not gonna say he lying. I don't know, but that don't make sense. Ralo got a federal case that's years apart from your state case. What could Ralo get on the stand and say about Thug and Lucci? Make it make sense. I'm not calling Thug a liar. I'm ignorant to this. I'm not a street nigga. I'm not a gangster. I know the law because I read books and I've had people who in my family and in circle in my inner circle who's had serious charges. I've only had minor charges. I'm not judging anybody. If you want to tell, you can tell. That's up to you. But what makes Ralo a witness, a good witness in a state case with Thug and Lucci? Ralo wasn't in none of their paperwork. Ralo wasn't in their case whatsoever. What could he say on the stand that incriminate Lucci and Thug? Let me know, y'all. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't want Young Thug to be a liar. I don't make content bashing people. I don't want to say this nigga lying. No, that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to make this make sense. I know that they both admitted to shooting at each other before. So let's just cancel that out. What about the Lucci thing? How is Ralo case connected to Lucci? What could he get on the stand to say about Lucci? It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. And Thug didn't go into detail about it. He kind of just said it and kept it moving. Brother, you got to explain that. You got to explain that. Y'all cases years apart. Y'all cases years apart. One is a federal case, one is a state case. Ralo not in none of y'all paperwork. Ralo not on y'all case whatsoever. Y'all got the same lawyer. He got the same lawyer as you and Lucci. What could he say on the stand? Who benefits from Ralo getting on the stand? Why not say that, Young Thug? That's important. If you even gonna say that in the first place, if you gonna say, "I swear to God, on my kids or on my life" or whatever he said, that Ralo was gonna take the stand. When you say something like that about somebody, you can't just say it, bro. You gotta explain why, cause that makes no sense. That was a red flag. It made no sense. He not connected to y'all case in no way. Get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Now, the last thing I want to speak about, because I know this is going to be kind of a drawn out video. This is going to be a drawn out episode because it was a lot going on here. The stuff with QCP. That came down to some music business shit. Is that why they don't like? Is that why Thug don't like P? That's what it sounds like to me. In a prior video that I made, I said if the only issue that Thug has with P is that he told 15 or 20 years ago, that's petty to me. I said I feel like it's more. After this interview, it was more. He had Baby in a fucked up contract, allegedly, or he was taking a lot of money from Baby allegedly, and Thug, I guess, had a problem with how he sold QC, the label, and I guess he felt like he didn't give Baby enough. That's their business, Thug. That's their business. I understand that that's your homeboy, but that's their business. And I heard on the phone call, Thug was talking about how Baby should have got half the money if the label was sold. That's not how that works. And Young Thug knows a million times more about the industry than me. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I know more about the music industry than a CEO who's made millions of dollars and sold millions of albums. I absolutely do not. But I have common sense. And I did create a strategic thinking media platform that's performing at a higher and higher clip every day. And I'm a fan of the music industry. I know a little bit. I read books. When a label owner sells a label, he's not going to give half the money to one artist. Let's say QC sold, or excuse me, let's say P sold QC for $100 million. He's not going to give Baby $25 million. He got a lot of artists. Let's say he sold it for $300 million. He can't give Baby $75 million, Thug. That's a lot. He got a lot of artists. What you think Lil Yachty would think about that? What you think the City Girls would think about that? What you think the Migos would think about that if he just split the money with him? So that's where his issues with P started, on some music business shit. It sounded like to me, Thug wanted to sign Baby. Thug wanted to do business with Baby. And P already had him. But I want y'all to get in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all think about this. What other questions did y'all want answered? Because it's a lot. It's a lot. I might have to do a part two. Because it again, what I say from the beginning, so many questions are still unanswered. People feel like Thug didn't fix this. The unfunk shit, he cleared that up. Everything else is still questions behind it, man. And a lot of people are saying the same thing, man. Thug need to go to counseling. It seemed like he was crying a little bit, getting super emotional. He missed Gunna. He missed his whole YSL gang being around him consistently. He dropped the song dissing everybody. But that's because he hurt. Slime Life Shawty replied, which Slime Life Shawty, I don't know why you would drop a video replying, still trying to talk gangster. Slime Life Shawty, no disrespect, man. I don't know you, obviously. When you take the stand, bro, why do you act like you can reply in a gangster way after you've taken the stand? Come on, man. You a gangster rapper, bro. You know how that's gonna look to your image. You know how taking the stand is gonna look to your image. You said YSL was a gang and you went into detail. I don't have whatever Slime Life Shawty feel like he needed to do, that's on him. And I don't judge him for it. That's his personal decision. But to take the stand in a RICO and cooperate with the government, then when Young Thug you reply with another gangster rap song, that's beyond me. That is completely beyond me. I don't understand what you gain from replying. What can you say to explain taking the stand? Why talk gangster? You're scared to go to jail. Hey, most people are. I'm not saying it's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying the optics look crazy because you talking gangster saying what you gonna do, but the last time you was on the hook for something illegal, you cooperated with the government. So why even go down that road of talking gangster? I don't know, man. Y'all get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. I don't want to make this episode too long. Young Thug, the last time I checked this interview, it was at 1.4 million. Was it a good interview? I think Bank asked the right questions, but I also think Thug is smart. Thug is also manipulative. Thug know how to answer questions a certain way, man. And it's just, again, it's still a lot of questions, man. I might have a part 2 for y'all. Urban Artificial Intelligence, Strategic Thinking Media Platform. I'm gonna see y'all in the next episode. Peace.